what's up, everybody? I appreciate everybody being patient, but just give us one more second.
Great Pharaoh, the gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
The Raiders are a really interesting team. We don't love the ownership, but they have a new front office, a new coach from New England.
If Josh McDaniels don't turn the team around this year, it's to be fired.
Not a lot has gone right for the Raiders under this regime.
They're doing what they do best. They are trying to lose. They should probably find a new hobby because it is going to be a disaster.
What's good, everybody? Hey, once again, man, we appreciate everybody's patience with us, man. This is a work in progress, man. We need to go on time when we need to, but going live is harder than you think, man. It's just like there's a lot of things that happen all at once, but I'm not trying to make any excuses. We got to get better. That's all on me. But that being said, I appreciate everybody coming through. We got a lot to talk about, man. There's a lot to talk about.
There's a ton to talk about. It's exciting.
It's funny too, because before we went live, I was like, man, it was crazy how we're gonna talk about a whole negative situation, and we'll get into that later. And I think things are looking a little bit more positive with some of the injury. Injury shouldn't be a positive,
but in the case of the Raiders,
But before we get into that, man, let's salute to the chat, man. We appreciate everybody coming through, man. Sean. As usual, Sean Schefter Johnson, he says, salute Pharaoh and Raider Ray. Appreciate you coming through. DeMarcus Webb in the building. He says, what's good, nation? Ray and Pharaoh. Daniel Kim is also here, man. One of our mods, man. Always keeping it real, always holding it down in the chat. So yeah, don't get rowdy out here because Daniel Kim's gonna come for you, man. Watch out for him, man. But he says, salute Pharaoh, salute Ray, man. Appreciate you coming through and supporting us. Super Omnicron says, salute Pharaoh and Raider Ray. Do you think AOC gets the start? As it is apparent, Jimmy G may be out due to concussion. Not maybe, he's officially out. He's officially out. So there is going to be a new starter tomorrow. It's either going to be Brian Hoyer or AOC, and we'll get into that in a little bit. My guy Pyro in the building with my other mods. He says, Pharaoh and Ray, man, appreciate you coming through, my guy. Oh man, cool Kev. Oh man, I see you, cool Kev. Richard Lyon, my guy. Isaac Madrid. He says, I say start Aiden O'Connell. We got nothing to lose. Hey, that's one way to look at it, man. That's one way to look at it. We might as well put the young guy in there with all this talent on this team. We don't question the talent on offense. We're not talking about we need to draft a receiver, a running back. We got that. A tight end. We got that. So let's maybe you got Isaac. Great minds think alike. Marty Martin in the building. He says you sound like Josh McDaniels.
Dang, bro.
Damn. I'm gonna give you a hey man. Woo! He went for the Mike Tyson knockout right there. Josh McDaniels, come on, man. A little better than that. Super Omicron says salute to Chad. Let's roll. Yep, let's go, man. What's up, Ray? How you doing?
What's good, bro? Hey, I'm just excited. We got a lot to talk about. I want to kind of hold my excitement and just wait for our topics, but I'm good, man. I'm excited for a football game tomorrow. How about you?
I'm excited, man, and Strami saying if it's Hoyer, I don't think I can watch the game. I'll be physically ill.
Facts.
Hey, you sound like Ray. You know,
facts.
last time we went live, last show, he was. I could see the disgust in his face. The thought of Brian Hoyer starting for the Oakland Raiders, Las Vegas Raiders. Man, that's tough. 37-year-old quarterback career, backup quarterback. He doesn't really have nothing left in him. I mean, Josh McDaniels had to talk him out of retirement. So that's the one thing that has me thinking. And let's just get into it, man. Let's go over the injury report right here. Look, we got this is the Chargers. And before we get into the Chargers, let's look at the Raiders. So both teams are kind of beat up. You had Jacorian Bennett, one of our rookie corners. He was on the injury report. You had Curtis Bolton, who's out this game. I think did they put him on the injury reserve list?
Yeah, I actually did see that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think there's a chance he could come back this season. This guy is a special teamer, a guy that we kind of like on the team, but you know, he'll get another shot down the road. Hopefully, he'll be able to come back this season. Max Crosby really didn't practice this week.
Yeah, that was kind of concerning when I seen it was a knee.
Mm-hmm.
That's just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, so it looks like this might be a game time decision. This is gonna be tough. This is going to be tough if Max Crosby can't go against this red hot offense.
If we don't have, obviously we haven't had Chandler all year, and we'll get into that later. But if we don't have Max Crosby, Malcolm Koonce is kind of beat up with a groin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, if something happens to Crosby and Malcolm Koonce, I don't know where this Raiders defense goes as far as edge rush.
Mm-hmm. And then we got Jimmy G. You know, a lot of you guys were alluding to in the chat about who's going to be the starting quarterback. Jimmy G has officially been ruled out. He did not pass the concussion protocol in time before the game, so he's going to be listed out. He's possibly going to come back next game, good to go. But as of right now, he's going to be out tomorrow. So there's a possible chance, not a possible chance. There's going to be a new starting quarterback tomorrow. But who do you think is going to be that quarterback? That's the question. Is it going to be Brian Hoyer, the career journeyman backup quarterback, or is it going to be the young QB out of Purdue, AOC, Aiden O'Connell?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah, I'm asking you. I'm asking the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So look, this is my opinion. I think if Jimmy Garoppolo is practicing for 2 days this week, it comes to Saturday, you rule him out of the game and he's not traveling with the team. That tells me you gave him a shot. And look, I think it's Aiden O'Connell, and I don't think that you don't allow Jimmy Garoppolo to make the trip if Brian Hoyer is going to be starting the game. I think it's an Aiden O'Connell show. I think the rookie's going to get the entire game. So to me, it's exciting. I don't think Brian Hoyer is the guy that they're going to roll out there. If they do, obviously, I'm going to be disgusted. But I just don't see that happening.
Yeah. And you know, I was talking to someone earlier today, and they're making a point saying that, you know, McDaniels is going to do everything because this is going to be his last stop. If this doesn't work out with the Raiders, if he can't win with the Raiders, I don't know if he gets another coaching opportunity. And if he feels like he's on a hot seat, obviously, if they don't win, if they don't continue to win or show any type of improvement, he's going to try to pull every stop that he can to make this thing work. He's going to try to win. And he has to really think about it, like who's going to give him the best opportunity to win. And if he feels like it's Brian Hoyer, I don't know, man. That's gonna be pretty sad to watch tomorrow. But
And I do want to say this about Josh McDaniels. The scheme, as far as scheming guys open, it's been there. It's been there. And I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback from the fan base, but the scheme wise, as far as getting players open, it's been there. It's been the decision making at the quarterback position. So obviously all that falls on Josh McDaniels in the win-loss column.
right.
And all the attention goes to him. And obviously he's got a bad reputation right now with the fan base anyways.
Yeah.
But hey, he's going to coach his butt off this game. I'm telling you, he feels the pressure. There's only a certain amount of time that you can keep the media away from the team and the locker room and the pressure. This coaching staff feels it. Patrick Graham feels it. Josh feels it. And I think he's going to come out here and coach a heck of a game. Now, I'm just curious to see if Aiden O'Connell can go out there and deliver. And my question on that is, if Aiden O'Connell goes out here, throws for 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns, say the Raiders find a way to come out with a win.
Or lose.
Is Aiden O'Connell going to be the guy moving forward, or do you see them putting Jimmy G back in next week?
Man.
Because it draws a dilemma, right? It draws a dilemma because if you move forward with Aiden O'Connell, that's already you're 4 weeks into the season that Jimmy G's not your guy.
Okay, so right now with Jimmy G at quarterback, the Raiders have one of the worst offenses in the NFL in terms of points per game. We're not scoring any points with Jimmy G at quarterback. Part of that is not all on him. We can't run the ball as well. But if AOC is able to provide a spark, which is possible, you seen what happened when Stidham came last year against the Niners, and he was able to put on a show, put on a great game. Came up short in that start, but it could happen. And right now I think Josh McDaniels feels like in my opinion I think he knows he has to win. He needs to show some type of improvement, and starting AOC and him playing well will buy him more time. Will buy this regime more time. I just feel like AOC would be the smart move. But what do I know, man? I'm just a fan of the team. But at the end of the day, that's why we're here to talk about it. But as we go down this injury list, we got Roderick Cheemer, safety, veteran safety. He's on special teams. He got an Achilles. That's a weird type of injury. Hopefully he's all good.
Yeah, those are scary.
Yeah, but he's listed as questionable, so it must be not that serious. So hopefully he could get healthy. I didn't like this though. Like, look at this. You got 2 of your starting DM your best pass rushers against a red hot QB and red hot passing offense are on the injury. This is something that we got to keep an eye on. I don't like
Malcolm was hurt last game. I don't know if you caught it when he was laying face down on the ground for a while, came out for a few plays. Like, it was definitely bothering him. So
yeah,
I hope that this is something that doesn't linger, because we're going to need Malcolm. And to be honest with you, Malcolm's played good.
Yeah.
I know it's not showing up like in the sacks, kind of like what last year was with Chandler, but he's getting pressure. So he's doing a pretty good job out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's listed as questionable. Byron Young early in the week was also limited, but he's good to go. He's gonna be playing. But Nate Hobbs was listed out. Man. He's not gonna play. This is huge.
Yeah, that's big.
That's huge in the pass game and the run game.
Yeah,
that's one thing people aren't talking about in the run game, because he's like an extra linebacker out there. The way his physicality shows up in the run game, and that's gonna be a huge loss. I think they activated Tyler Hall from the practice squad.
Yep. And I like Tyler. I like his game. A little bit didn't show too much in preseason. Not what we've seen towards the back end of last season when he was getting all those starts. Yeah. But if he can pick up those momentum in the regular season like he did towards the back end of the season last year, I'm going to be okay, especially for a 1-game stopgap type of activation.
Yeah. So yeah, Tyler Hall and Amik Robertson. We might see a little bit more of Amik Robertson in this game as well, in that nickel spot too. So hopefully they can step up, make some plays, because they're gonna. Hey man, this is gonna be a tough game, and we're gonna get into that. But let's go to the Chargers too. The Chargers also are dealing with some injuries. They're dealing with a lot of injuries. Joey Bosa, I've seen reports where he's listed out, but on here it says he's listed questionable.
He's out.
But I think he's listed out. That's a huge. Oh my God! Thank you, God. Man, I did not want to see no Joey Bosa is one of the best pass rushers in the league. I hope that this is incorrect. He's listed out because man, he's a great player. But they still got Khalil Mack over there. But obviously, at this point, at this point in their careers, respective careers, Joey Bosa is the better pass rusher.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But Khalil Mack is still a guy you can't sleep on. And then you got Austin Eckler. Do you feel like he suits up? He's listed as doubtful.
No, he's out. He's out.
This is for some reason it's like. All right, so Austin Eckler is listed as doubtful, and you think he's missing this game?
Yeah, I think he's out.
So these are two big contributors to their offense. Austin Eckler, Joey Bosa. Everett was on the injury report. He's good to go, though. Gilman, their safety, back end guy. He's listed as questionable. Derwin James.
He's out.
Woo, this is prime time player right here. Safety listed doubtful. Most likely out. Doubtful, man. Like they're trying to. It's gonna be if that means it's the injury that they're dealing with is really bad enough where they feel like it's not gonna.
Look, in a situation where Joey Bosa, Derwin James, and Austin Eckler is out of the game, you've got to take advantage of that. Like there's no excuse. I know the Raiders have a few injuries here and there, but
yeah,
the Raiders have got to find, and thankfully, the Raiders are in a situation where those guys are out because we need every break that we can get on offense.
Yeah, you want to go down the injury report real quick? I have everything set up.
Yeah, Corey Linsley hit IR, so they're going to be missing out on their starting center. So I should have threw his name in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Eric Kendricks is going to be back, linebacker for them. Kenneth Murray, he's going to be healthy. Rashawn Slater, he's fine. Keenan Allen has a hip. He's going to be fine and good to go. And JT Woods, safety, is going to be out as well in a room that they're going to be tapping into some depth pieces back there with Derwin James being out, JT Woods being a depth piece. He's out. So, hey, Raider Nation, this is one of those games where we have a struggling team right now. So to catch this Chargers team in a situation like this, I typically want both teams healthy. I don't want any excuse at the end of the day. But this is the hand that we were dealt, and this is the team that we're going to be facing. So we have to take advantage of every opportunity and come out with a win.
Yep, no doubt, man. Corey Linsley too. That O-line, that could, hopefully that sparks a pass rush for us inside. Yep. We could take advantage of that weakness. He's listed as out, like you said. A lot of these guys, I think Keenan Allen was earlier in the week, had some Leonard, but he's good to go. And this guy right here, man, him and Herbert right now are they're killing it right now.
Herbert is playing some of the best ball of his career. I mean, he's on fire right now.
Yeah. And before we get into the preview, man, let's get into the chat, man. Let's hear from people, man. Hey, man. Hey, I appreciate it. Time to get Pharaoh good. Hey, man, appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you, Pharaoh and Ray. Man, appreciate you. Appreciate you coming through. Just another DJ. McDaniels' ego will not let him be wrong in bringing Jimmy G. He would go back to regardless of performance. Man, you think he's really going to let his ego be his downfall?
I don't know. Hey, that's when I was angry last week, and I was saying that. Thankfully, I've kind of calmed down a little bit, and especially with the news of him being out and Aiden O'Connell one step closer to getting a starting job, I'm just kind of relaxed a little bit. But hey, if Aiden O'Connell, this is my take, man. If Aiden O'Connell goes out there and throws, I don't even want to put any gaudy numbers. Look, if the fact of the matter is if he scores over 20 points and leads this offense to sustain drives and not have only, 3 possessions in a second half, if this offense can be on track and he can push the ball downfield and make these defenses second guess, sending everybody up into the box and free things up for Josh Jacobs, it would be the stupidest thing to continue with Jimmy G. You take it as a loss, you move on. He could be a really good backup in this system. And we talked about it last week. I'm okay with Jimmy G being a backup. The contract is the contract. If he's the backup quarterback, you're in good hands. All right. Like if you got into a pinch and your starter goes down, if AOC goes down and Jimmy's got to go in there, I feel a lot more confident than riding out with Jimmy and Brian Hoyer being the backup. So if Aiden O'Connell goes out here, man, this is his opportunity. This is the ticket, right? This is that one opportunity that comes. And if you could take advantage of this, he could be the starter for the Raiders this year. So we'll see how this goes.
Cool. Kev says Hoyer the Destroyer. Oh man, we got a Hoyer fan in the building. He said Hoyer the Destroyer, so he's probably rooting for him to to come into the game, and he's that's sarcasm for sure. I'm not a cool Kev, man. Stop playing around, man. Stop playing.
The only thing he's going to destroy is the Las Vegas Raiders, not any other team.
Damn, kids, we need to leave him on tarmac at LAX before you start. Man. Strami said 6 interceptions in 3 games is just unacceptable for any QB outside of it. Yeah, I think Jimmy leads the league in interceptions. I think that leads the league in interceptions.
Which that's not what he was brought in here to do, right? Nah. He was brought in here to be a game manager, keep the ball out of the opposing hands, move the ball downfield, and be effective in the red zone. We have not seen any of that. So.
You know what the crazy thing is that I know that the run game hasn't been there, but guys have been getting open. You got Devontae Adams. You got Jacoby Myers is getting open. Renfro is getting open at times. And even Michael Mayer. He's man. I think
don't get me started on that.
Man, I think it's time for to get him involved. Now that you
the problem is he has been involved. It's just nobody's seeing him. That's the problem. Yeah.
Marty Mars says Amik is going to get some burn, but somebody needs to cover 13. Ooh, facts, 100%, man. 100%. Given the amount of snaps that O'Connell has taken, O'Connell has already taken in college, simplify his reads and let him go. Yeah, and I think that's what probably contributed to his success in preseason. I think everything was simplified. Offensively, defensively, obviously, not a lot of teams are going to show anything. Everything's going to be simple and plain. So that's why maybe that's why they're hesitant. And if he doesn't start, maybe that's probably why they're hesitant, is because, Brandon Staley, Bill Belichick is coming up on the schedule. You know what I mean? Like guys like that, like they feast on rookie QBs. So for a rookie QB, their best friend or any QB is a run game. So that's.
Do you feel like Aiden O'Connell and Mac Jones have a similar play style?
As pocket passers?
Yeah.
You could probably. Hey, look, I like the aggressiveness of Aiden O'Connell. He is not scared, man. He will put the ball in there and he's accurate.
And I love that he's actually he goes through reads. Right? Like now we're gonna see that. We're gonna see if he gets to start tomorrow, like how efficient he is at that, especially in the regular season, because a lot of things are about to change for him quickly. So but man, like if he can just see the field better than Jimmy G, I think the Raiders offense is just leaps and bounds better than what it has been the first 3 weeks. Like if he can get Hunter Renfrow involved finally, who has been active, he has been getting open. There's word in the building that Josh McDaniels is aggravated that Hunter Renfrow hasn't been getting the ball because he's had opportunity in every single game that the Raiders have played. Michael Mayer, another one of those guys. Look, if you guys watch film, if you take a look at it, Michael Mayer, when it comes to catching the ball and running routes, the guy has been open all over the field and for huge explosive plays if they could connect.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to look out for. Does Aiden O'Connell go to the tight end and kind of open things up? It just brings a level of excitement that I haven't felt so far this season.
Sometimes when you see backup players or backup QBs coming to the game, you can see the chemistry they have with players that the other quarterback didn't. So, for example, like he might come into the game with Michael Mayer and it'll be instant. Light it up, So, but obviously, come on, Devontae Adams is just he's just one of those rare players that just creates so much separation. Jacoby Myers, same thing. Yeah. Renfro, so he's gonna feast, man. And the thing about it too, AOC was playing. He played with players that are no longer on the roster anymore. So
if you think of who his number one target was in preseason, Trey Tucker, the guy that he took shots with. Like that's another speed element in this offense. Mm-hmm. He might get him the football and stretch his defense out, who's very liable when it comes to taking shots downfield. So, but to be honest with you, think the situation aids in. Like as long as genuinely if he can literally just go through reads and go out there and play ball, he's gonna be fine. He'll be fine.
I mean, it's perfect timing. He's a 25-year-old rookie. You know what I mean? Like, let him go in there, man. He's coming from playing in Purdue where he played in a pro style offense. Obviously, Josh McDaniel has a really complicated offense, but he's hey man, like let him grow. Let's see what he can do, because Jimmy G ain't getting done. It's obvious. Like, come on, man. Like it's not getting done. I think McDaniels, hopefully, if he knows better, if he feels like, hey, if he wants to keep coaching the Raiders, He's going to let the rookie play. That's going to buy him some time along with Ziegler because I think it's a package deal with them because the decision making, and I'll get into that later. But yeah, man, make sure. Hey, Marty Mart wants to remind everybody, make sure to hit that like button. We appreciate the support. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button as well, and hit the notification bell. So every time we go live, drop content, you'll be notified and all that good stuff. But yeah, man, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into the Raiders Chargers preview. So what have you seen from this team that we're going to be seeing tomorrow? You know what I mean?
Well,
what can we expect from the Chargers?
First and foremost, man, they love to rush with their natural pass rushers and drop a lot of people back in coverage. They like to play a lot of soft coverages. Defensively, they're struggling in the secondary right now. Linebackers still aren't great coverage linebackers, but gosh, when you can get home with guys like Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, and Thule, which we'll get to him in a second, a draft pick that a lot of Raider Nation wanted us to get in this year's draft. They're doing a lot of unique things with him, and I'm going to kind of get into what I've seen them do with him as well. But overall, defensively, there's a real opportunity here if the Raiders can actually connect and execute. That's a big word this week, you guys, is execution. If the Raiders offense can go out here and execute, we're going to be just fine. Now, offensively for the Chargers, Herbert.
You're saying the Chargers don't. Hold on one second. I'm having issues with the lighting here.
No, you're good.
But you're saying that the Chargers don't blitz that often?
No, they do. They show a lot of blitzes. They bring guys up, but they also just rush with their 4 and they drop a lot of guys back in coverage. They're very multiple in their defensive looks. So you're going to see guys at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see 6, 7 guys. You're going to even see the nickel come up to the line. You're going to see the linebackers come up to the line, especially if Aiden O'Connell gets a start, you guys. There's going to be a ton of heavy formations up front of showing blitz, bringing linebackers up, nickel DBs up. And when they snap the football back, you're going to see guys drop back into coverage. And but the thing about it is, though, is like as long as Aiden can see that and pass protection holds up to a point to where, say early on in the game, if the Raiders don't give up a lot of sacks and they do good in pass protection and can build the confidence of Aiden O'Connell, I'm not necessarily so worried about them bringing everybody up to the line of scrimmage because obviously I believe Aiden will take what the Chargers defense is giving them. And they're going to naturally have to back off, and you're going to see less and less of those looks, and you're going to see more of rushing up for. Now, with Joey Bosa being out this week, I think that you're going to get a lot more dialed-up blitzes. So just some things to look for.
No, I actually looked it up, too. They're actually 9th in blitz percentage, so they blitz. And I think that's kind of like Brandon Staley's thing. I think that this week, getting the run game going is going to be so huge. But it's going to be a perfect opportunity because the Chargers haven't really done a good job of stopping the run. And I think the Raiders, as much as they've been struggling to run the ball, they also have been playing defenses. Well, you know what? I take that back. We played one of the worst run defenses against the Steelers. But that being said, this is a good week for them to get their run game going. 100%. And if you're gonna send out Aiden O'Connell, he's gonna need that help. You got to put him in 3rd and manageable, 2nd and manageable. You got to keep doing that consistently in this game because if you're going to send out Brian Hoyer, Aiden O'Connell, it doesn't matter against this defensive front. Like you said, they like to mix it up. They like making everything look the same. Like I just said right now, they're 9th in blitz percentage. You don't want that. You don't want the game to get out of hand that way. So I think that you're right on when it comes to that. Now offensively, the Chargers, man.
Yeah, they're a problem. And they're doing it without their starter. Like Mike Williams is out for the year. Austin Eckler's been beat up. They just lost their starting center. Yet this offense is still firing on all cylinders. So, yeah, man, you got anything for the offense, or you want me to get into it?
No, and as far as the just to go back to the defense, I mean, in terms of yards per game, like the Chargers are one of the worst defenses in the NFL. They've been giving up a lot of points, 29 per game. But when you face a Raiders team that's averaging 15 per game, you can see how like something's going to have to give. Someone's going to have to bring their A game. Hopefully it's the Raiders tomorrow. But yeah, going to the Chargers offense, they're ranked number 7th in the NFL. Against the pass, they're ranked number 4. I mean, they're the 4th ranked passing offense. And they're not doing it like they typically did in the past, where they dinked and dunked. This kind of reminds me of Herbert's rookie year. They had a different offensive coordinator. It wasn't Lombardi. It was I think he's a running back coach for the 49ers now. I forgot the offensive coordinator. Maybe somebody in the chat can let me know. But he was the OC for Herbert that first year. And we seen a lot of Herbert was throwing it deep a lot his first year when he took the league by storm. But when Joe Lombardi took over, it was like that dink and dunk offense. And, I wish he was still the offensive coordinator, but it is what it is. They got the guy from Dallas, the OC from Dallas, Kellen Moore.
Yep.
And, it looks like Herbert's playing his best ball right now. And he's throwing it deep. And he's throwing it deep to guys like Mike Williams. He's out for the season, of course. And he's throwing it deep to Keenan Allen, too.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, another guy to watch out for. And even though he hasn't had a lot of production, but it's a guy that they drafted in the first round, but they can feature him a little bit more because of Mike Williams' injuries. Quentin Johnson, 6'4" wide receiver, deep threat. If they like to throw deep, insert him. You see where I'm going with this. Josh Ball might get a little bit more production as well. So yeah, man, their offense is lethal, man. The Raiders are gonna have to figure a way to make them one-dimensional. And I don't even know if you want to blitz Herbert. I'm not sure if you want to blitz Herbert because so far in the season, his completion percentage is 80%. 4 touchdowns against the blitz so far in the league right now. So he's killing it against the blitz, especially last game. I think the Vikings blitzed him all day, and it didn't matter. He was like 40 for 47, 400 some yards, 3 touchdowns. He's killing it right now. So I don't know if you want to blitz him. You got to have timely blitzes against him.
Yeah, and I just don't want to sit back either because they're going to throw it 40 times a game. So they're going to spread you out. I don't want to just be completely soft. I would like to see a little bit more man this week, if I'm being honest with you. There's been a ton of zone, a lot of soft zones. I would like to kind of simplify some things, whether it's third down or early on first down, just to make those tight window throws a little bit more difficult than what he's been seeing because Keenan Allen's been destroying zone coverage, just knowing the open windows to throw to. So, yeah, man, I agree with you. I don't think we should be blitz heavy. I don't think Patrick Graham is blitz heavy, but we've got to create some type of rush. And with Corey Lindsey being out, I would like to see those linebackers getting involved in the blitz game, going up against Will Clapp, which is their new center now. You got to at least show it, and you've got to put multiple guys. I like what they did last week with Max Crosby. And I'll kind of save this for the matchup, but I'd like what they did with Max Crosby last week, getting him hovering over the center and just moving him around and getting him in creative situations.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that the Raiders should be blitz heavy, but I think they have to be blitz heavy in just they're doing it because they're trying to find ways to get to the quarterback. Right now, the Raiders have 5 sacks in 3 games.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And that's one of the worst in the league. So they're trying to manufacture some type of pressure. And I'm not sure if blitzing heavy against Herbert is going to be a good idea. I think they're just going to have timely blitzes, and they just got to hope that Max Crosby plays, obviously, and has his best game. Malcolm Coops plays and has his best game. And some other guy in the interior, some other guy steps up. Maybe Tyree Wilson has his best game as a Raider. He played 11 snaps last week. It was due to the illness that he had during the week. And hopefully, maybe he can get some pressure. Maybe throw him inside. Maybe do something. Find a way to get the rookie going. We talked. Byron Young was on the injury report. He was supposed to be a guy like that can possibly maybe give you some pass rush. We haven't seen him. Bilal Nick. Somebody got to step up. This is a game of firsts. Something has to give. Something has to happen in order for the Raiders to win this game. Because I'm not gonna lie, this is a tough game.
Oh, it's super tough. And if we don't show up, it can get ugly quick. So, and it's been the song of the season, right? There's been 2 things that's been the song of the season, and it's Raiders have to generate pass rush, and the Raiders have to get the run game going. Every single week that we've had a keys to victory, it's been establish the run game, find an identity in the run game, and get after the passer. All 3 games that we've played so far, those things they have not shown up consistently. So, again, I don't think there's going to be much difference heading into our keys and matchups that we get into later, but getting after the quarterback and running the football, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, facts, 100%, man. But yeah, man, let's get into the chat, man, see what they think. If they want to chime in, let us know their thoughts. And should we open up the lines tonight? Should we open the lines here from the Raider Nation?
Yeah, that's up to you. I mean, we'll see how we're at on time. I'm cool with it, whatever.
All right, cool. Money Master Hori can call plays. Oh.
Yeah, with a clipboard on the sideline without pads on.
For real.
From the skybox.
He can massage the player's shoes. He could like shine the player's shoes or something like that. Oh man. Roger Crosby says, "Hey man, are you related to Max Crosby?" Hey.
Are the Raiders really starting Aiden O'Connell?
Are the Raiders really starting Aiden O'Connell? It's nothing's official. Nothing's official, but
speculation.
There's a 50% chance. However you want to look at it. Is it a Hoyer? Is it Aiden? You know what I mean? Jimmy G is out. So it's out of Hoyer or it's out of Brian Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Because I've seen some of the beat writers, like Vic Tafer says he sees Brian Hoyer starting tomorrow. Just because McDaniels has had him as a backup quarterback this whole entire season. If you guys remember preseason, I think he had Brian Hoyer playing like 3 quarters. It was the second game in the preseason where he gave him so much time. I'm like, why is Hoyer playing this much time when you can let this young guy who's clearly outplaying him play? And then on top of that, come to find out, McDaniels actually talked Brian Hoyer out of retirement. So there's a lot of different.
That's so ugly.
I know. So when you do something like that, you're kind of promising the player that like he's gonna have a real shot of whatever type of role with the team. So who knows, man? I hope it's Aiden O'Connell. I hope it is. Jerome says Jimmy didn't pass concussion. Yep. There you go. Answer your question right there. Boyd says Raiders need to rebuild, trade Adams for picks, secure first round pick 2024 draft. We need to secure Caleb Williams so he doesn't go to the Broncos.
Hey. Okay. Let's be honest here. Would you sacrifice this 1 year in order to get 15 with Caleb Williams? And come on. We're talking 15 years old. Don't let your pride get in the way, Pharaoh.
I understand it. I've never kind of looked at it like tank. I've never thought like, oh man, just tank. Like I don't know why. I never looked at it that way. It's just man. But I get
Raider
it.
Nation has one of your own.
I get it because now I get what Boyd is trying to say, because Boyd is like he's thinking it from this perspective. Mahomes, Herbert, and then Caleb Williams,
and then Brian Hoyer,
Jimmy G, and then Aiden O'Connell. As much as we want him to play, we want to see what he can do. But talent wise, we know he's not no Patrick Mahomes. We know that he's not Justin Herbert. He's not. There's a reason why, after the draft, we were kind of like, man, why did they draft the Aiden O'Connell? Because he doesn't fit the mold of today's QB. He's kind of like an old school quarterback. But hey, he surprised me in preseason. The way he looked, the way he ran the offense, the way he was so accurate, he had the command of the football team. I mean, let the guy play. But I see what you're saying. I think if they continue to lose, I think Adams gets traded for sure.
Like the only way that Aiden O'Connell thrives is if Josh McDaniels is going to be the head coach, just based off of the style of the offense, if that makes sense. I think with this style of the offense, with all the talent that's there, the ability to scheme guys open, if he can take advantage of that, this is the scheme for a guy like Aiden O'Connell. That's why a Jimmy Garoppolo, a Brian Hoyer, statues back there behind the line of scrimmage. Historically, Tom Brady, all those guys that they've worked with, statues behind the line of scrimmage. So if Aiden O'Connell is to work, it would be in this scheme and system. I know how people feel about Josh McDaniels, but if you're telling me I could have a Caleb Williams here to compete with the Herberts and the Mahomes and at least give me an opportunity to have a generational type of quarterback, Raider Nation, you might be mad, but if I was in charge, I might sink the ship. I might sink it.
Yeah, if they're 1-3. Let's say if they lose tomorrow, right? Let's say I don't want them to lose, but let's say if they lose tomorrow, you're saying they should start thinking about trading all their assets and get draft picks for it, because this is pretty much what he's saying. It's not going to just be trade Adams, trade Renfro. Trade Renfro, trade Adams, trade a lot to get that number 1 pick, or get, because I think we can get a first-round pick for Adams.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because he's arguably the best receiver in the game, and like
but it's going to be with the contender, so that's going to be a late first. And then whatever your record falls, that's where your high draft pick is going to be. So unless they, say the Raiders lose a ton of football games, they're 3-14, and they've got that 3rd overall pick, and then they've got, say, like the 24th pick with whatever team they trade Devontae Adams to, that's kind of going to be the situation. You're not going to get a top. Devontae's not going to go to some bottom dweller team.
Right. Hey, man, we got someone new to the channel. Daniel Caps Keenan, new to the channel, boy. Love to see AOC. Hey, I'm with you. I appreciate you subscribing. Subscribe to both our channels as well. We're going live on both the channels. My man across me is Raider Ray channel.
Yep.
But yeah, appreciate the support, bro. He also says, wow, I have the same exact hats that both y'all have. Hey, man, great mind. Hey,
great minds.
Man. Great minds think alike, man. Yeah, man, appreciate you. All right. So let's, Anthony Provencio in the building. He says, I paid way too much money for these tickets.
Oh no, Anthony. Hey, second market them. Go sell them. Go catch the game down the block.
Hey, all I gotta say, Raider fans who's going to the game tomorrow, and AOC pulls up and puts on a show, man.
Oh, you'll have a great time.
Hey, man, I'm gonna be jealous because I went to the Pittsburgh game, and watching Jimmy G live in person, man, I had to really look at him and be like, this dude is trash. Like, this dude is really trash. I had a good time. Had a good time, but at the same time, like, it would have been better with the W. But watching him at quarterback, where he just looks at one guy and then happy feet. Oh my God. Like, literally, the Raiders have one of the best pass blocking O-lines in the league. And he acts like he's getting pressured every play. And mind you, I understand he got sacked a couple times but the dude's trash, man. I don't want to talk about him no more. But Willie says AOC can thrive. He can handle it. Hey, man, look, everybody's right now. Hey, we should put a poll in the chat to ask who they rather see. But it's kind of obvious. Everyone wants AOC to start. Like,
it's gonna be 98-2.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, man. It's pretty obvious. Super Omicron. Hey, get the running game. Hey, that's gonna be huge, because especially against this high-powered offense. Hey, to be honest with you, I don't see the Raiders defense stopping them like that.
No.
But the best way you can stop this team is to play keep away. Time of possession. Force some timely turnovers. We got to get some turnovers, run the ball, and boom, like, hey, when that clock turns to 0, hey, I want to see the Raiders win that time of possession, and we could come out with the W that way. Like, because if you're going to give the ball back to this team, they're pretty much going to go down the field and score. And that's the way that's pretty much the way they've been offensively, even though they're 1-2. Let's see.
Well, it's also why the offense has struggled so much, is because so much of it is built on being able to run the ball and sustaining possessions and being efficient and getting the ball where it needs to go and keeping the offense on time and in rhythm. None of those things have happened for the Raiders offense. So that's why we're sitting in a predicament where, 15 points a game we're averaging. So, you've got the 5th highest paid offense, and you have absolutely nothing to show for it. I'm pretty sure we're the 30th or the 29th ranked offense in the NFL. So, hey, look, honestly, I don't think Aiden O'Connell can do any more damage to this Raiders offense, unless he went out there and threw like 5 picks. But
right,
I don't see
Justin DJ says Herbert's going to use his legs against man coverage. Pressure up the middle is a must. Hey, but we've been saying that all season. Like, who's going to step up in the inside, the interior? No one has. David says time for Tillery to show up. Hey, maybe it's him.
Yeah,
earlier after Tyree Wilson, maybe he has his best game as a Raider. They move inside, maybe get some pressure. Who knows? He had 11 snaps last week. He was ill, so he didn't really get a chance to. But I heard him talk this week. He's talking about learning and growing and learning from Max Crosby. A lot of people kind of throwing him on the rug, saying he calling him a bust. Hey, it's kind of early, man. Like,
it's way too early. But I was gonna send you a screenshot today though of his get off from last week. There's a still image of a get off. I'm telling you, Max Crosby was 3 yards up the field by the time Tyree even moved. So
it's tough.
Still got to work on that, man.
It's tough because I don't think he was even supposed to be on the field like that to begin with. Like first game, I don't think they were even gonna have him playing that many snaps. To be honest, maybe here and there they probably throw him in there because with the Chandler Jones situation, and we'll talk about that later, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
And that's a big black mark on the Ziegler McDaniels situation. But if you want to take over the chat real quick, hold on one second.
Yeah. Let's start here with Daniel Kim. And if you guys, if I missed your comment, go ahead and redrop it and I'll get to it. I'm going to start from right here. Daniel Kim says, I want to see Ben Johnson lead a team, manage a clock, and deal with egos when things are down. So far, McDaniels hasn't showed that he can do all of that currently. Yeah, hey, look, if we were to go get Caleb Williams, I want a young offensive play caller who can put Caleb in the right situation. I don't think Josh McDaniels would be the right fit. So this is obviously hypothetical talk, guys. I'm not saying that the Raiders are going to tank. I don't like tanking, but I'm just saying if I could guarantee 15 years with a guy like Caleb Williams, yeah, you're not guaranteed to be a surefire thing as a rookie, but he's got some generational talent to him. And if you got the right head coach with that, the weapons that we have, you could do something with that. So, yeah, I would like to see a young offensive play caller come in here and kind of take over this team and just kind of see. And look, it's a good offseason for coaches, man. There's a lot of guys that have the opportunity to really step into that role. Young creative minds. Like I look at what Mike McDaniels is doing with the Miami Dolphins. Like if we could have an innovative play caller like that, modern NFL play calling with a young quarterback, hey, I'm all for it, you guys. But yeah, Daniel Kim, I get what you're saying. Anthony says if Aiden O'Connor starts and balls out, then bleep Caleb Williams. But if that don't happen, I'd love to have Caleb Williams in the silver and black. Bring Lincoln Riley with him. Yeah, 100%, man. I like that. Sean Johnson says we should see Nesta Jade Silvera tomorrow. It'd be nice. It would be nice, especially getting a Will Clapp in there. I would like to see somebody get in there, man, and create a rotation. Jerry Tillery, that was a good point, you guys. Jerry Tillery has a real opportunity to get in there and create a pass rush. Somebody just has to stand up. I don't care what the name is on the back of the jersey. Somebody's got to create an interior push, and it's got to happen this week. Believe me when I say I like Ben Johnson as a play caller. He's fresh, gets his guys into space, and has Goff looking like an all-pro. I might have just convinced myself of the possibility. Hey, whether it's him, I don't want to go down the list, man. There's quite a few that I have my eyes on, but I'm not going to be mad with a few of the directions that you could possibly go in. So, no, I'm with you, Daniel. I really am. I just wanted Carter, and he was there first to draft. Yeah, that's tough, man. And there's more to that than I just think that football aspect, the Henry Ruggs situation, the situation that Jalen was in. I don't know if they were ready for that. I don't know if it was too big of a red flag, but you take all of that aside and just talk about the player itself. Yeah, that's a big time miss. Hoyer hasn't won since 2016. He's 37 years old. Yeah. Oh, you don't have to remind me. I know this, my friend. Is Nesta Jade Silvera playing this game? It's not confirmed yet. We'll know the inactives. I would probably say he's probably going to be inactive, to be honest with you. Following the trend of what's been going on, I could see Nesta Jade being inactive. We need to get Kadarius Toney and make him a corner or safety. His pass knockdown game is cold. Hey, maybe he could make that transition to the defensive back, man. You're right. He can't seem to catch anything. Sean, is Silvera active? Nope, I don't think so. Guys, I said Tillery, not Tyree. Yep. Riley with Caleb. Hey, it's a possibility. You're gonna have to make him probably a very, very high paid head coach to come in and take over, because you're talking about the Raiders being the first overall pick potentially, or the second overall pick. So yeah, hey man, that'd be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool to see. I'd be on board with it. Can you imagine the UFC offense over here, Caleb Riley combo? It'd be fun. It would be so fun. Tua throws the rock nice. He does, and he's accurate, and he's grown as a passer. And Mike McDaniel knows how to call a game. So you're just kind of seeing the blend of a perfect storm right now. I don't know if this is crazy to say, but I think AOC 4 would have beat the Steelers. Hey, look, it's a possibility if he goes out there and dominates against, or even performs well against the Chargers. Yeah, you can make the argument. You can make the argument. Yeah, I won't get into it all, man. There's a way I feel about Jimmy G. Do you think Van Roten is the problem with the run game? Van Roten is definitely an issue with the run game, but I don't think it's necessarily him as a whole. Like, it goes a little bit deeper than just saying the last name on the jersey is the problem. There's some schematic issues going on there. Teams know that the Raiders are running ISO. They're switching up fronts. They're switching up coverages. And it's kind of offsetting how the Raiders are running right now. So look for more inside zone, outside zone, things that Josh Jacobs gets good at. I would be surprised if they don't go that direction. But yeah, Caleb says the Raiders are one of his teams he would play for. I would love to see it.
Man, the chat is going crazy right now. We appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure to hit that like button. We appreciate the support, but for us to keep coming back, we need that support. So we go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. Also subscribe to our channels. The road to 4K continues on my side. Also support my guy Raider Ray over here. Subscribe to his channel, and also hit the notification bells so you guys to get notified every time we go live. Because sometimes people hit us up and be like, "Hey, we missed the live. We missed when you went live." Hey, if you hit that notification bell, you'll get notified. So it will let you know. But yeah, do you want to? Let's go ahead and let's get into key matchups.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's get into key matchups, man.
And we'll get into the comments before we wrap everything up too, guys. So
yeah,
if we didn't get into it, just drop it again.
So a key matchup for me, I'm going to start with Jacorian Bennett right now.
Okay.
And I mentioned a guy. I mentioned two guys earlier. Now it's Keenan Allen, and also I'm gonna put Quentin Johnson and whoever's matched up with them. And right now, I think the way the Raiders have been using Jacorian Bennett, like they kind of been throwing him out there. He's going through his rookie mistakes, but right now he's allowing 15 catches with 18 targets. 83.5% completion rating, 196 yards and 1 touchdown. And QBs have 130.6 passer rating. And he's going to go against one of the hottest passing offense in the NFL with Herbert flinging it, completing everything. I think Herbert right now is he's averaging 74% completion percentage, which is number one in the league right now. And what's impressive about it, like I said, he's not dinking and dunking, because right now he's tied, or he's second behind Kirk Cousins with 15 or more 20 yards or more plays. So the guy is throwing it deep and still, has a 74% completion rating. So this guy is he's playing, like you said earlier, playing the best ball of his career. And I think to a matchup this game where we got to figure out a way to win is because Jacorian Bennett is going to be out there. And they're going to go after him.
100%.
And he's going to have to make some plays. He's going to have to make some plays. And I think Jacorian Bennett and whoever they match him up against, Johnson's going to get his fair share of targets. Even though so far in the season, he's only had 5 receptions on 8 targets, he's going to replace Mike Williams. They're going to try to figure out a way to replace that production with Mike Williams leaving. I think he tore his ACL because Mike Williams received 26 targets the first two plus games. So he was a big part of that passing offense. So they're going to try to replace that with Josh Ball or, a combination of Josh Ball and Quentin Johnson. I don't think Eckler is going to play this game. He might miss it. So, Eckler is the kind of that pass receiving running back. So you would think that maybe possibly he can probably replace their production.
Yeah. And I want to talk about what you were talking about with Jacorian Bennett, because that's a matchup on mine. So I just only want to dabble in it because you did good covering that. Yeah. It's a rookie versus rookie, speed versus speed matchup. I want to remind Raider Nation that the Raiders' defense, our defensive backs don't move. So Marcus Peters isn't going to follow a guy like Keenan Allen. So the Chargers are going to have the flexibility to take advantage of matchups. And even though we're talking about Quentin Johnson versus Jacorian Bennett, I would almost argue that would be a worse matchup for the Chargers. And if I was the Chargers, I would almost put Keenan Allen on Jacorian, and I would put Quentin Johnson, the burner, over against Marcus Peters. 30 years old, struggled with speed last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Until you can prove you can stop it or not miss an assignment, blown coverage assignment, then I would put that matchup over there for the rookie to get behind Marcus Peters a little bit. Keenan Allen going against a rookie and Jacorian Bennett, that could be some problems. So there's a few directions, and to be honest, if I'm the Chargers offense, I'm kind of salivating at the matchup here because you can kind of exploit and take advantage of a lot of things. Looks like it.
No doubt. I mean, that's going to be a huge matchup. And another matchup that I'm looking at, and I'm not sure if we're going to see it this week, is J.C. Jackson. You guys remember that guy? You remember J.C. Jackson was that number one defensive, free agent that the Raiders are going to sign or looking like they're going to sign because Ziegler was coming to Vegas and he played a part in getting him as a rookie free agent with the Patriots. He's struggled with the Chargers so far. I mean, I think he hasn't really fully recovered from that injury. I think he so far this season he's allowed 6 receptions, 118 yards, 1 touchdown in 2 games, and he was inactive against the Vikings. So I'm not sure if he plays this game, but if he does, the Raiders should attack by any means necessary, whether it's Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, whoever. They need to attack this guy. But I think the Chargers know better. I mean, because they kind of like pull the plug on it because they feel like he's not 100%. But for comments from him, he was kind of surprised that he was inactive last game, even though he knows he's not 100%. But we'll see. But I just put it up there because I'm like, hey, look, if he possibly plays, maybe they feel like, you know what, maybe it's kind of like a message to him somehow, some way. But I don't know how you try to send a message to a guy that's not 100% healthy. Like, come on now. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah,
but, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got to piggyback off that to kind of stay in the defensive back room. I've got Asante Samuel versus Devontae Adams. Asante has given up 298 yards and 3 touchdowns to this Raiders wide receiver core over the course of his career. So we've seen what Devontae Adams was able to do in the matchup last year and kind of take advantage of that. Both J.C. Jackson and Asante Samuel Jr. Devontae kind of had his way with him. I think Raider Nation all remembers those games. But no, man, this is one of those weeks where the dagger combination. Kenneth Murray right now, man, he's not quite there yet as far as pass coverage. So for me personally, I want to see Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. I want to still see them run the dagger concept. I want to see them run some sluggos. I would like to see Devontae have that option in his tree. And this week, what makes it unique is you might have Aiden O'Connell who can actually push the field downfield. So those slugger concepts, those sluggo seams, you're going to be able to attack and push this defense vertically, which I think the Raiders could take advantage of this week. And also get a guy like Trey Tucker involved. You know what I mean? Just take a shot, get the ball out there. He has history with Aiden O'Connell. DeAndre Carter, former Charger. You have some speed. So I just want to see them, if they go this rookie route, there's going to be a lot more designed routes for people. There's going to be a lot more designed plays to get people to football. Let's get Hunter Renfrow involved for the first time. Let's get DeAndre Carter, Trey Tucker. Devontae and Jacoby, they're going to get theirs. But as long as the other guys can get involved, it makes this Raiders offense much more difficult to stop.
Yeah. And another matchup that we should keep an eye on too is Khalil Mack and Colton Miller. I think like Colton Miller, like in his career, I feel like he's always kind of struggled against power rushers. So even though Khalil Mack is not the same Khalil Mack that we know and we grew to love as he played for the Raiders, he's still an effective pass rusher, and his calling card is his power and his leverage. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes during a game against Colton Miller, who historically has struggled against power rusher. Even though I feel like he's improved he's one of the best. You could put him he's a top 10 left tackle right now at this point of his career, and he's gotten better. So, but that's another matchup too as well. Like I'll say that it's like that's an honorable mention, I would say, as far as matchups.
Yeah, no, that's good. And also it's a good reminder that the Chargers are giving up 87 points in these 3 games. So, I mean, they're giving up 24 points per game. I know the Raiders offense has been struggling, so you got to take advantage of that. Like if the Raiders can finally get over that 20 mark, I think that'd be significant. But obviously the elephant in the room, Corey Linsley, he's out for the year. So Will Clapp, former Saints, is taking over as the center. The interior of this defense, man, if you're Patrick Graham, you've got to take advantage of this matchup.
Yeah.
If you haven't got push on the interior, this is the week. We talked about it. Jerry Tillery, Bilal Nichols, Adam Butler. I don't care who it is. Take Tyree, put him over the center on 3rd and long plays, and have him bull rush Will right into the lap of Justin Herbert. I don't care what you have to do, but you've got to take advantage of this. This too, you gotta pay attention to the exchanges of handoffs. You have to take advantage of the communication between center and quarterback and their ability to ID the mic. And you've got to create breakdowns for their communication. And especially with the Raiders, this is going to be a home game for the Raiders. We all know this. It's going to be loud. It's going to be hard for this. They're probably going to have a silent count offense where they're moving with no communication. So you've got to take advantage of that going against a new center this week. So yeah, for me, man, I've got Will Clapp circled, highlighted, exclamation points. Like the Raiders have got to do everything they can to exploit that center position.
Oh yeah, facts. And I think I don't know if you mentioned it, but I think that's why you kind of wanted to talk about how Max Crosby, the way they moved him around last week so they can generate pass rush. Maybe that's a way they can move him around this week to get pass rush against that center that's going to be starting. So we'll see how they figure it out, because I know that this can be a heavy blitz defensive plan tomorrow, because right now the way Herbert is playing, come on, man. I'm not sure if we want to do that. I think if we can generate pass rush by figuring out ways to get to the quarterback with a 4-man pass rush, that's like the best answer.
Yeah, and I want to really have Raider Nation focus in on this Raiders offensive line and what they're going to be dealing with against the Chargers and all these stunt concepts that they're running. Now, with them missing Joey Bosa, the Chargers defense is going to get pretty creative, and they've got a guy in Thule who can do all of that. So stunts with Morgan Fox has given this Raiders offensive line issues before. I believe it was Dylan Parham last year struggled mightily with Morgan Fox. And look, Dylan Parham, he hasn't been playing perfect by any means, like when you turn on the film. So I'd imagine that they're going to try to play stunt games against him on that left side of the line. So Khalil Mack and Thule, or you can line them up on the other side with Morgan Fox and Thule. They were able to get after the Minnesota Vikings with that stunt concept. So Thule is going to be one of those guys that we've really got to keep an eye on. Khalil Mack at this point in his career, it's kind of crazy to say I'm not terribly worried about that. It's the ability to get some of these young guys involved in the stunt games. That's how they create a ton of their pressure, getting their linebackers involved. So you got to make sure that Thule is under wraps. You've got to put a tight end to chip him. You've got to get Jermaine Illuminor is going to have to play a big game. Colton Miller and Dylan Parham, their communication is going to have to be key. And a guy like Van Roten has got to be on the same page with Jermaine Illuminor with all of these concepts and stunts that they're going to be running. So, yeah, man, I've got Thule matched up on both sides of the defensive line, because they're gonna move him all over the place.
And does that wrap up your matchups?
Yep, that wraps up mine.
Okay, man. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up our matchups and preview. But let's get into the chat real quick and hear from y'all, man. We want to know like how y'all feel about tomorrow's game. Who are you looking forward to watch? Obviously, a lot of y'all are looking forward to seeing AOC on the field. That has yet to remain to be seen if he's going to be playing tomorrow. Brian Hoyer looks like there's a possibility he might start. We'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see what McDaniel's gonna do, man, because he's playing with fire right now. Because if Brian Hoyer goes tomorrow and has the worst game of his career, that's not on Brian Hoyer. I'm not putting it on Brian Hoyer. I'm putting that on McDaniel's.
Oh, 100%.
But let me see if I can get caught up with the chat. I warned people about Tyree. Also told people about CJ Stroud. Y'all boy AR-15 look good too. Hey, man. Hey, did he? Is he gonna play this week?
He's back.
Hey, the dude backing him up though. I think they probably had one of the best quarterback rooms or best backups. I think what's the dude's
Gardner
name?
Minshew.
Yeah, he's come in and played well. I think they won last week with him starting, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it is what it is. AR-15, but hey,
I think AR looks good despite the fact that he has absolutely no talent around him.
No talent.
Like he's carrying that offense as a
Jonathan
rookie.
Taylor, as we speak, wants to leave the building. Like he does not want to be a Colt anymore because of issues with ownership and whatnot. So yeah, their whole situation is all messed up. But I like the receiver Michael Pittman though.
Oh yeah, but let's be honest, he's not like 1A.
Nah. He's like a number. He's a solid number 2.
Yeah. They need a playmaker.
But he's a number 2. You would have to get like a speedy like receiver. Like if you're gonna feature him, you got to make sure the other guy like right next to him has to be like a deep threat. Yeah. And I don't know if did they draft a guy that was a deep threat. This is hella off topic, but
yeah. They try to get a few. It's nobody that's like
because it was a slot receiver. But anyway,
yeah. It was Josh Downs.
Josh Downs? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was your guy too.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah, anyways, let's get back into it. Matt Marinovich in the building. He says Tua is an injury waiting to happen. He has a broken man. Oh man, We
Hey,
over
but he
here
just
talking
put
about
up
the
70
Dolphins
points.
quarterback.
He
Getting
put
on
up more
Tua.
points in a single game than a lot of teams put up all year. So
Hey, you know what?
I can't be
Tua
mad.
right now, he's kind of proving me wrong. I thought he was going to be like a bust quarterback. I just didn't. But the way Mike McDaniel went to that team, is coaching that offense, the way he's playing with the receivers, he's aggressive, throwing it deep, quick release. Hey, he's playing well, man. He's playing well. Let's see. We got Tit of CPT. I'm gonna say CPT. We should have turned McClendon into a D tackle.
Oh, jeez. No, we shouldn't have.
Hey, did he? He's with the Seahawks, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's with the Seahawks. He's playing guard as we speak. So I don't know if he's. Is he on the roster or is he? Yeah, I think they.
I haven't
signed
really
him.
followed it. I haven't followed what he's doing.
That's the only way they can take him off our practice squad
Is if he's activated, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Nick 209 says if the Raiders can't run the football, playbook will be limited. Yeah, but it'll put a lot of pressure on the whoever's starting tomorrow. Whoever start, we got someone. Hey man, we got someone donating, man. I appreciate the.
Oh
donation.
yeah, you gotta hit. There you go.
Latavarian Savage, appreciate the super chat. He says, if AOC does start, then he need more than one game before we can crown him. Please, nation, keep that in perspective. Yeah, 100%. I hope that they don't use that as an excuse to not continue to have him play. But earlier you kind of threw a scenario at me. What happens if he doesn't play well tomorrow?
Well, then you know what you got, and probably ride it out with Jimmy Garoppolo. And then we start chasing the top pick.
Do you really know that you know what you got with after one game?
No, and it's tough, right? Like, but let's be honest.
It sucks though.
I don't think Aiden has to be crazy great to get this offense going. I really don't. I think as long as he can go through his reads and his progressions and bring what he brings to the table, which is accuracy and good decision making, like, let's be honest, that's what this offense is built on. So as long as he could play his game, like I don't see a situation where he just goes out there and plays like garbage. I just don't see it.
Super Omnicron, man. I appreciate. Hey, Latarian Savage, man. I appreciate the super chat again. But Super Omnicron says offensive line versus depleted Chargers pass rush. He's speaking to Joey Bosa being out, and hey, you know what? Derwin James too. Derwin James. Would you include him in the pass rush because they like to move him around, blitz him a lot? You know what I mean? Even though he's in the secondary.
Yeah, of course.
Quentin Johnson versus Jacoin Bennett, Max Crosby versus O-Tackle Pipkins and Storm Norton. Yeah, Rashawn Slater. You know, you got to throw him in there. Rashawn Slater is a monster.
Oh, he's playing great right now.
Man, like that O-line. Would you say that's probably the best? At least in the AFC West, they have the best O-line in the AFC. It's between them and the Chiefs.
Well, I mean,
you know what? The Chiefs maybe took a step back.
I don't know. I mean, I think like the AFC West there's players on every one of the teams that I like Zion Johnson for the Chargers that we're going up against. Nasty mauling guard, playing super good right now. The Chiefs always find a way to make it work. I don't know how. You know what I mean? Like they're not great, but they find a way. But then Denver threw a ton of money at the offensive line, Mike McGlinchey and Ben Powers, all those guys. So, I mean, the AFC West is stacked with offensive linemen.
Man, if there was a game where Marcus Peters had a pick six, this would be the game. Because we need this is a game where like defensively, like they can just.
Hey, I hope you're right. Well, you are right in the theory, but I'm like, I hope you're right as in it happens because, gosh, we need something.
Taking it back to last game and thinking about the defense, they really didn't have a terrible game. But if you put things in perspective, they're playing against one of the worst offenses coming into the game. So now they're playing against the best offense they've played all year. Even Josh Allen led Buffalo Bills offense. Right now, the Chargers are playing better on offense than they are. So. And Justin Herbert is playing better than Josh Allen is this year. So, you know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough tomorrow. Let's see. Anthony Provincial right now is looking at a college football. Wow, Duke just took the lead in Notre Dame. I'm not watching the game, but let's see. I'm trying to get caught up here, man. Got a lot of
everybody's active tonight.
Everybody's active. FAKC.
Oh, Hefe's here.
Oh my God!
Can somebody boo this man? Get him out of here.
We gotta figure out a sign and get someone out of here. Hold on, let's see.
Stop the cap.
Hey, FAKC's for sure Raider fan. Let's be honest.
Yeah, you've been around for a while, Hefe. I hope you're doing well. I hope your
GA
team
Patriot
sucks.
says the Chargers have allowed 65.9% completion percentage in man coverage this year, 31st. Yeah, their defense is struggling against the pass. They're one of the worst in the league. So, the Raiders have an opportunity, but hey, man, I just think that their best bet is to control that time of possession, running the ball, keep away from their offense. And that's how I feel like we're going to come out with a W, and hopefully we can force some turnovers. Because right now the Raiders are, I think the Giants and the Raiders have not forced a turnover this year. They have not forced a turnover, and turnover differential.
Oh, it's so bad.
It's tied the worst in the NFL with the Vikings, -7. So they've had 7 turnovers to 0 forced turnovers. So that's not a good stat to be on. Let's see. We got GA Patriot. He says Chargers have allowed +5. Hey, man. Hey, GA Patriot coming with the facts right now. Chargers have allowed +566 rushing yards over expected since 2022, worst in the NFL. Josh Jacobs.
We've been saying that for 3 weeks now, man. But you know what I mean? We're heading into that week 4 of the regular season. This is where teams need to start clicking. So the run game, this is where we look at last year, early on in the season, they struggled. And then week 4, 5, 6, you really started to see Josh Jacobs come alive. So hopefully that we can kind of reincarnate that a little bit.
Yeah. And make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit that notification bell so you can be notified. But yeah, let's get into keys to the game, man. Let's get into the keys of the game, man. It's that time, man.
It's that time, guys. Oh, we do have a super chat. Read the super chat out.
Oh, we got a super chat. Okay, go ahead. GA Patriot, appreciate the super chat. He says, if Aiden can plant his feet and pass, he's an upgrade. Jimmy got happy feet. Hey, I said this earlier. I seen it live. Like, this dude, if Devontae had opened, he is scared for his life. He acts like PTSD from playing scared behind 49ers online for years. Or getting beat up in that. Hey, he's dealt with a lot of injuries. So maybe McDaniels thought he was getting the guy that he drafted, and after all those injuries, getting beat up, it can take a toll. So you might be right about that, man. But I appreciate the super chat.
Josh McDaniels bought a broken toy. That's what happened.
I know. Hopefully AOC can correct that terrible mistake of signing him to a contract. I mean, do you agree with signing him to a contract? Like, did you agree with that? Jimmy G, yeah.
I mean, you needed a starter. I mean, here's the thing: it's not like crazy buku money for a starting quarterback. So it would be one thing if they're paying him $30 some odd million a year. Then yeah, obviously I have a problem with it. I think it's like 20, 21. Now, if Aiden O'Connell comes in here and is beating him out on a rookie deal, and maybe Jimmy Garoppolo in the offseason, if you move on and he's not your guy, maybe that's a contract that somebody would be willing to trade for a stopgap. I don't think that he's like. I don't know. I don't mind him being a backup, and I don't mind paying the money because next year we have like close to $100 million in cap space. So you can afford to have a backup like Jimmy Garoppolo on the roster.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. So look, it was a failed experiment. Hopefully Aiden O'Connell can take over. And if he does, then the Raiders are they're in good hands.
Yeah. I think they just, man, it sucks because I've heard some people like, oh, we should have went with Stidham and signed him, and then but then that's like,
yeah, but the team started to catch on what Stidham is. Here's the problem: like, you go and re-sign a guy like Stidham, it's not going to take long for defenses to figure out him either. You know what I mean? So right now, I think the Raiders' best shot with Aiden is that teams don't have any type of film on him. So he can go out here and throw a ton of different stuff at the Chargers and looks fantastic. But let's see if Aiden gets the start. Let's see what Aiden looks like in the next 4 weeks. Let's see what happens when defenses start to game plan to his strengths and then see what kind of player he is. So for this game, though, specifically, I think it bodes well for the Raiders to send out Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And the thing is, Jimmy G was the backup option. I think they really were going to try to go after Tom Brady too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
yeah.
Jimmy G was the backup option. They're like, you know what, we got to throw someone out there.
They had to go get the Walmart version.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. My bad, yo. All right. So let's get into keys to the game. It's that time. But I appreciate the super chat, GA Patriot. But yeah, man, keys to the game, man. So what are your keys to the game? Let's start off. I can start off with one of the keys. I'll start it off by saying, look, the Chargers have had 234 yards against the Dolphins. Hold on 1 second, man. I don't know why this is happening.
But yeah, yo, like I'll just start and then Farrell can kind of pick up.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, my first key takeaway, man, you got to take advantage of the situation. The Chargers are beat up, they're hurt, they're injured. You're missing out on Joey Bosa. You've got Austin Eckler's out, Derwin James is out. They just lost their starting center. That's 4 starters who are good football players. They're missing them. You've got to take advantage of that. And it's all in areas where the Raiders have had struggles, right? We've faced the good safeties like the Bills. We've had the good edge rushers. We're getting a break here. Good offensive lines. The interior of our defensive line has struggled. Well, they're missing out on their starting center. The Raiders' run defense has not been very good, and a guy like Austin Eckler can dice you up both in the pass game and the run game. He's out. So this entire situation has to be one that this coaching staff and these players find a way to take advantage of. So yeah, for me, it's take advantage of the situation.
Right. And I agree 100%. And for me, I'm kind of like looking at it from this perspective of, look, every team that's played us so far, they've gotten the run game going. They've been efficient running the ball, or they've had a great running day.
Yep.
And I feel like the Chargers, week 1, they rushed for 234 yards. Austin Eckler is going to be out most likely this game, but they still got Joshua Kelly back there. They still got some other running backs. They're still going to establish run. And the last 2 games, they combined for 91 yards. So they're probably looking at the Raiders right now and being like, okay, Raiders right now, they're giving up 127 yards a game. They're going to try to get the run game going. And that's not something that we cannot let happen against an explosive passing offense. Not a dink and dunk offense. I'm talking about explosive. I mentioned Herbert is second in the league with 15, 20 plus yards pass plays. That can't happen with the run game. If you mix that up, might as well give us the L. So I think stopping the run game, making them one-dimensional, putting them in third and long situations, and trying to generate a pass rush with timely blitzes too. Not a heavy blitz game, because we're like right now, Herbert is destroying every team that's trying to blitz him, and it's not working so far this season. I think that we're gonna have to have timely blitzes, keep them off balance. I think I seen somewhere where, they're talking about Herbert this year has taken a lot more control at the line of scrimmage, and he's been handling it a lot well. Like, so he's calling the cover, he's calling the protections, he's calling the offensive plays. So I think the Raiders need to be smart and try to figure out a way to generate a pass rush, but with their front 4 and then timely blitzes. But you got to set that up by stopping the run, and I think that's a big key.
Yeah, no, it is. And I think, to allude to Justin Herbert, you got to slow down the passing attack of the Chargers. Now, let me just say this up front. I don't think you're going to get it done based off of talent per talent matchup. I don't think you're going to get it done by putting a bunch of guys on the line of scrimmage and blitzing. A way to slow down the passing attack of the Chargers is the Raiders' offense has to create momentum and create long drives, time of possession. Josh Jacobs has to get going this game. The Raiders have got, even if you have to switch up the scheme, if you've got to run more inside zone, if you've got to run more outside zone, if you've got to run less power and trap plays, do it, because if you're starting a rookie quarterback, we've got to sustain drives. You've got to get the play action going. You've got to get this defense to back up a little bit and then get guys involved like Devontae Adams. So to keep Justin Herbert and that passing offense limited, you got to keep them off the field. So the Raiders need long sustained drives, and they've got to capitalize in the red zone when they get the opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm going to add on to that. Josh Jacobs averaged 5 yards per carry the last 3 games he's played the Chargers. Also, Josh Jacobs has this is probably a slow start to his the season. That's not hard to say. So to get him going is going to be huge. So giving him the ball, try to get that rush game going. And it's not like we're going against elite rushing defense. That being said, it's a copycat league. Every team that we played thus far has literally, put 8 man in the box, try to take the run game going, and try to and pretty much make us beat them up top, and we haven't done so with Jimmy G at quarterback.
Right.
He's not at quarterback. So hopefully, maybe a guy like AOC comes into the game, and makes them pay early on. And I hope McDaniels, he's showing a signs where he's been aggressive. Like he's not scared to do things. I mean, you might question some of the calls at times, but he's aggressive.
I would lean on it's more of execution than it is the play calling, to be honest with you. I would honestly say that.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have Tom Brady anymore, so he needs
exactly.
He needs a guy back there. But yeah, for me is I start off by saying stopping the run, because this Chargers offense is too explosive to give them a run game. And then on the other side of it is that we need to get the run game going. And you kind of mentioned how we have to play keep away, have long sustained drives, but also having long sustained drives, you do that by, running the ball. So, so I think, so I agree 100%, man. I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, so I mean, my last one, and it's not a huge key. It's just something that we haven't been able to see, and I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what you were talking about with Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's the fact that Derwin James isn't in this game, and they're kind of beat up in the secondary. We've got to take shots this game. It's something that we haven't seen in this offense this season yet, and when we have, we've had success doing it. Specifically on the 4th down to Devontae Adams when Jimmy G sent it down the field. I know it wasn't a huge shot, but they were aggressive enough to go out there and give Devontae a chance. And I think with Aiden O'Connell, you've got to really go out there and dial up the opportunity to take a shot. Get Trey Tucker involved. Get DeAndre Carter involved. Get Jacoby Myers involved. Take shots with those guys or even scheme them open. Guys like Hunter Renfrow have been wide open down the seam all season long. It's just we have not had the quarterback with the arm that's going to get there with enough zip and enough velocity to split between 2 defenders. So I think we have that this week with Aiden O'Connell. So it's something that you've got to take advantage of because it's something that this offense hasn't been able to show to other defenses. And you've got to put that on tape. That way other defenses moving forward have to take that into consideration when game planning for the Raiders.
Yeah. And I don't know if you mentioned this, and I probably talked about this earlier, but I'm going to just add on to what we were talking about. Hey, this is a week where we need to force our first turnover of the season.
Yep.
First few turnovers, because this is a game where, like, hey, talent-wise, the Chargers got us beat. On offense, compared to our defense, they could slice and dice us right now, that the way they're playing right now. So we're going to have to figure out a way to generate turnovers and a pass rush without blitzing.
You almost have to make this game kind of ugly.
Make it ugly. Make it ugly.
If it's an ugly win, then it's a win, if that makes sense. So you don't want to go out there and
yeah, your audio went out. Yeah, you got
I'm back. You don't want to go out there and match them like talent for talent. Oh, we're just as pretty as the Chargers when it comes to talent and quarterback position.
Yeah,
make this game ugly. Make it tough.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up our keys to the game. Let's get into the chat real quick. Let's hit them up. We want to make sure we talk to y'all, man. At the end of the day, y'all supporting us. Remember last season, we're all screaming pound the rock. It wasn't until week 4 or 5 that McDaniels and Jacobs started to gel. Yeah. But the thing is, Jacobs came into the season like that preseason game. Remember last year, he played one preseason game, and he looked amazing. Like he looked like he was ready to go. And even when he did have got the ball last year, I think I seen the stat. I wrote it down somewhere. Like the first 2 or 3 games, like we were still averaging like 4 yards a carry, 4.5 yards.
He was successful. It's just we didn't do it.
It was just that we weren't doing it enough.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that teams were stopping us.
We're
It
just
was
so
that-
pass heavy.
Exactly. But now it's kind of like we are actually attempting to run the ball. It's just we haven't had any success because teams are now kind of like catching on. Like, you know what? You got Jimmy G at quarterback? Oh, okay. Yeah, you guys are not going to beat us deep.
Yeah, we're just going to sit on everything and watch his eyes because we know he's a 1 and 2 read type of quarterback. We're going to sit back, watch his eyes, make a play on the ball, and that's why he leads the league in turnovers, you guys. Being able to push the ball down the field it's so important. Being accurate and decisive, being able to go through reads is crucial, specifically in this offense. Running the ball, Raiders haven't been able to do it. Defenses have no problem going up against against Jimmy Garoppolo right now. Anthony says we need a run game. Yeah, I was going to post this one. My audio went out? I can't hear Pharaoh if you guys can hear Pharaoh. Pharaoh, you're muted.
Oh, you guys didn't even hear me. Oh, man, I was muted.
I was going to say.
Yeah, so Ryan Rango, obviously you guys read it already, but I'll just go over it real quick. Ryan Rango says, Sanjeet just posted a video that he has a source that said Aiden will start for the Raiders tomorrow, that this source has been right on other things as well, and that 100% Aiden will start. Hey, man, I think Raider Nation... Hey, I wish I went to this game. I actually wish I went to this game because I feel like Raider Nation is gonna be strong and heavy tomorrow out there in LA. Because we all know LA is just another home game for the Raiders. But I think that tomorrow is gonna be a huge game. I think Raider Nation is gonna be excited to see the rookie QB start tomorrow. I hope he does start. I hope this report is right. Sanjeet is pretty credible. So hopefully we do get to see the rookie play tomorrow. My guy Raider Room in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. Ja Raider says, question, if Aiden O'Connell plays better than Jimmy and we score more than 17 points, like 30 with Aiden, and run the ball better with him, does he still if
it's me, yes.
Look, we have one of the worst offenses.
Yeah, you have to. You've got to.
We have one of the worst offenses, and I'm not trying to say it's all his fault. Our run game has been terrible. But part of it is because it has something to do with Jimmy G and his ability to push the ball down the field and complete them too. Make the defenses play because they're playing them a certain way, and he hasn't had an answer yet. So for me, hey, Aiden kills it tomorrow. Hey, we need to. And I know McDaniels wants to win. I think he needs to win to keep his job. Yeah. If he keeps losing, even though coming into the season, I'm like, yeah, McDaniels probably gonna have another this year plus another year. But like that's all dependent on if they show any type of improvement. And if the Raiders continue to lose, that's no improvement. And now Mark Davis is kind of left with no choice to move on.
Yep.
So yeah, Ja Raider, man, I think Aiden O'Connell. Hey, you got to keep on with the rookie quarterback. Keep on going. So let me. Man, there's a lot of people here, man. I appreciate everybody coming through, man. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified. But let me try to get to all these chats. Right, Austin Avila says AOC will have to set protections pre-snap too. I feel like that could wreck the whole offense. Handling that responsibility to rookie Andre James is terrible pre and post snap. Man, Austin Avila, hey man, we gonna give you
coming after Andre James. I see you.
Yeah, hey, shots fired. I think, man, you going after Andre James right now. We'll see how it shakes out tomorrow. I think McDaniels kind of knew that he knew that Jimmy was not gonna go. I think this is just classic coach waiting till the last minute to announce the starter to give him a competitive edge. You know what I mean? So So like the team game plans for Jimmy G, but then last minute AOC comes in the game. They have no film on him, and that's where you can see Aiden O'Connell have a good game. So I hear what you're saying. He is a rookie. He's going to come in, Man, that's a good observation. Appreciate it.
I think there's a trapdoor clause after year 1 for Garoppolo. We would have to look at his contract, but hey, I hope so.
Let me take a look. I'm gonna look that up. You could take over the chat real quick. Look that up.
Josh says McDaniel's ego's afraid even if Aiden becomes a great QB, he will be criticized by media on why sign Jimmy in the first place, and he'll be pressured to keep Aiden as a starter if he's great. Well, I mean, I don't care what the media says. You know what I mean? Like, if Aiden O'Connell's that guy, then bite the bullet. You missed on Jimmy Garoppolo. He's in a contract that he's getting paid like a starter, but it's a bottom middle of the road type of starter. If you're viewing him as a backup, you've got probably the best backup in the National Football League, and you're paying him $21 million. So I wouldn't worry about that. If Aiden O'Connell is a winner and he's getting the job done, then just move forward with him. That's what makes sense. McDaniels also knows if he says that Jimmy G is a QB1, he's a dead man walking. Yeah, especially if Aiden O'Connell performs. Who covers Allen in the slot? Can Hall do all the jobs? So like I said in the matchups, Raiders don't follow in this defense. So whoever's in the slot, if Tyler Hall's starting in the slot and Meek Robertson's starting in the slot, that's who's going to be covering Keenan Allen. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game, guys. It's going to be tough.
Hey, just real quick, I'm gonna share this. Y'all see this? Oh man,
not yet.
Oh man, it just disappeared. 1 second. Let me.
GA Patriot says we have to run the ball. Time of possession is critical. Yeah, and it has been for all of our games. That's why our offense has just sputtered out of control.
You see this?
Yep. Just zoom in. Yeah, there you go.
All right. So I don't know. This is. I don't know about that 1 year get out clause that you was talking about.
It should. Okay, potential out 2 year.
It's
with
it's
a
2 years,
$12 million dead cap hit. Okay. So next year. Oh, it's because they converted all that money. That's why his cap hit is $6 million this year. Next year it'd be $28 million.
But the dead cap right here is like 55. Like, wow.
Yeah, you're pretty much stuck with him, man. He's gonna be either your guy or he's gonna be the backup.
He's gonna be the most expensive backup QB in the NFL.
Yep.
We hope, because that means the starting quarterback is gonna be killing it. So,
and then it kind of justifies having that contract. It does, but it doesn't, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it'll just make us forget about it.
Yeah,
it'll make us forget. But this contract is kind of. Oh man, let's keep it positive. Let's just try to be positive.
Well, thankfully, the one bad contract that we're destroying this organization for, Chandler Jones, you're probably going to get that voided. So you're going to get a lot of money opened up on that end. So let's just take the bad contract and shift it over into the other bad contract and maybe make it look less bad.
Well, let's get into that's a segue to, if we're speaking of bad contracts. Let's go to in other news, Chandler Jones. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. And Chandler Jones he had a heck of a week, man. The dude went on Twitter live, he went on a little rant, said a lot of crazy things, and then it led to him getting arrested. And then after he got arrested, a day later, which I think he got arrested yesterday, and then a day later, the Raiders release him. So he's no longer with the Las Vegas Raiders, which is interesting because, now we have to look at it and we got to think about how bad of a situation. Hopefully Chandler Jones, everything he's all good. He gets taken care of. I don't know what's going on. I can't really speak too much about it because it's I don't even know what's going on with him. But you can tell just from the people who that are maybe even close to the situation, they're making it seem like there's some mental health issues going on. But that being said, man, 3 years, 51 million. We still owe him. Let me take a look. There's a dead cap hit of 13.2 million this year, 12.3 next year. They paid out most of his contract because they restructured his contract in March, so they paid most of his money. But I'm sure they're probably going to go try to get back some of that back because of everything that's went on. But I think that's a big black mark on Ziegler and McDaniels, because that was their guy. That was like their priority free agent. They gave him a huge contract or a big contract, and it didn't work out. So I think for me, like, McDaniels better hope that AOC is the next Tom Brady.
I see it as a black mark as just in the fact of missing, like whiffing on a player who's not contributing and no longer a part of the team.
And I'm not even talking about just off the field. I'm not talking about this year. I'm like, the first year, he didn't do anything. Yeah. Like after the year one, we're like, oh yeah, Chandler Jones is past his prime.
Yeah.
That was like basically how we felt at the end of the season. We're like, yeah, Chandler Jones is past his prime.
But I won't put it on them as far as like, yeah, he had the issues in the past, but I don't think you predict this.
No, not predict.
You know what I mean?
But still, like, they signed him. It didn't work. And on top of that, it ended in terrible fashion.
Yeah, horrible.
Terrible. Like
there's some wild claims out there too. Like me and you kind of talked off camera about that 24-minute live stream. And I don't want to get all into it, but
yeah. Like,
man, there were some wild claims. And if some of that stuff is true, like, I don't know, man. Is this situation over just because he's released? You know what I mean? Or is there going to be more down the road?
Well, you know how it is. Like, as time goes on, the truth will come out at some point. You know, we'll get more information. I think it's kind of strange we're not hearing from his like family and like people who are close to Chandler Jones.
That's what's weird.
I think that's kind of strange. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, damn, like no one's coming out and kind of saying something. They're just letting him. It's like everybody's just letting him be him. Like, just do what he does, and then now it's led to him getting arrested because he violated a restraining order or something like that. And it's just, man, it's crazy.
It's crazy because me and you were talking. I was like, I just hope that somebody like steps up and helps him before like something tragic happens.
Yeah.
And then it was literally the next day he got arrested. So, I mean, I just want him to be safe, to be honest with you. I don't want something tragic to happen to Chandler because I think Chandler's a good man. I just think whatever it is he's going through, I hope that he gets the help that he needs. That's just my main priority. Not playing a snap as a Raider, the contract, all that stuff. Like, this is a sport. It's not my money. It's bad for the team, yes, but when you get situations like this, man, I just hope that Chandler's good for his kid's sake, for his family's sake. So that's just kind of where I'm at.
But I posted like a clip, like a story, a clip on my story on IG, and it was from a former player that played under Josh McDaniels, and he kind of alluded to the fact that he wouldn't put it past that this whole situation all started because of Josh McDaniels. And it started with Josh McDaniels because the type of person or head coach or whatever type of person he is, he kind of said he's not a good person. And, I'm paraphrasing because he said a lot of crazy stuff, but he was pretty much saying that like McDaniels is not a good person. He's not a good people person. He talked about a story that happened to him where he was like severely injured, ended his career, and how McDaniels just laughing at him based off how he got hurt. And like, he was just laughing in his face, and he was just like, and he talked about how like this is the type of person McDaniels is like, and you know what too, and I'm not saying that that was when he coached the Denver Broncos, but I didn't like how when like the media asked him like about the Chandler Jones situation, the way he responded and answered the question, I didn't like how he answered.
Yeah, I didn't either, man. I didn't either. It just felt
he easily just said his name. He could have said, you know what? I know Chandler Jones has been saying a lot of crazy stuff, but he clearly has, something's going on, like mentally, like
he could have at least touched on it like that.
He could have just said, like, Chandler Jones, we hope he gets better and yada yada yada. But he was just like, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something to the effect like, yeah, I care about all of them, or it is like it was just kind of
it was weird.
It was like out of touch. I don't know. It was just weird the way he kind of answered that question, but that's just me.
I think he's the type of guy too. It's like he knew Chandler's not going to be a part of the picture, so in his mind, he's trying to get a win here so he don't get fired. So it's just like he's like, yeah, well, I care for all of them. You know what I mean? Like it's so yeah, it wasn't like player personal. It was just more of the fact that I think Josh has the Chargers coming up this week, and if he loses this game, there's gonna be a lot of people calling for his job.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's if we keep losing, we don't show any type of improvement. I mean, I don't know how Mark Davis goes into next year saying, "Oh,
yeah,
like,
it's gonna be a hard sell."
Yeah, but then obviously, I'm not saying they have to go to the playoffs. You know, me as a fan, I would love for the Raiders to go to playoffs, but I think Josh McDaniels gets another year based off the improvement of the team, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to go to the playoffs. So far this season, it doesn't seem like they've improved defensively. Offensively, they've taken a step back, but it's still 3 games, so hopefully they could turn it around, and it can start tomorrow. But let me get to the chat. Raider Nation, Justin says, we have no speed, just Tucker. We need to swap players like Brandon Bolden and Hoyer for a speedy wide receiver. Who's going to trade a speedy wide receiver for Brandon Bolden and Hoyer, man? I mean, I wish we can do that, but that's not going to happen.
DeAndre Carter's not slow.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like
Carter's not slow. You know, obviously you just mentioned
but in this offense, like you don't even necessarily have to be fast. Like it's the separation. Like Jacoby Myers, the separation he creates. Devontae Adams, the separation he creates.
Yeah.
Hunter Renfro's not a burner. It's the separation he creates. So
I think Devontae Adams had like the most touchdowns last year of like 20 yards. I think it was something. I'll try to bring it up. If we have some time, I'll bring it up. But he had one of the most touchdowns as far as like plus 20 yards last year. It was something crazy. So it's not about having speed. I mean, speed does help, but and we do have Tucker. I mean, there's nothing to sneeze at, but I just think that we have to hit on explosive plays. You know, and we got to put that on film for the next team to actually think about, like, all right, you know what, maybe we shouldn't put that extra man in the box. You know, but we'll see how it shakes out. Ja Raider says, no Derwin James, no Boza, no Eckler, no Williams. If we lose this is McDaniel's last day as a head coach. Doubt it, but if we lose to Packers, that will put an anger on Adams and it will make Davis pull the trigger. Do you think this is a situation where Mark Davis doesn't want to trade Adams? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't want to trade Adams. Like, he would choose Adams over
Mark
McDaniel.
Josh.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Hey, Adams is a great player.
He is. I don't know if he would. I don't know
if he would step into that. Yeah, like that's a little bit of a conspiracy theory, like low-key.
Yeah, and look, guys, the whole. We know we talked about this on the last show in the comments part. Like, it is a legal issue. That's why they're not covering it, and we talked about that. We're just addressing in that one situation, just how he handled it, how he talked about it. Yeah, obviously it's a legal situation. They're not going to get into it. That's not their way. That's not the way they do things. We're just talking about as a player relations spot. It would be cool to see, like, hey, look, we know Chandler's going through something mentally. We just want him to get right. Just that. It's what we were saying. It wasn't anything.
Yeah, we're not saying that he got to get into specifics. He could just easily just sound like a human being and not like a robot.
Yeah.
When you sound like a robot, that just makes you seem like a terrible person. Like you have no communication skills. That's just the way I look at it. And when you got people doubting you, like people are doubting him as a head coach, people are doubting him being a leader of men, people are doubting his way of communication, his way of trying to instill the Patriot way. People have these doubts. So when I hear him talk like this, I'm like, it kind of makes me think, like, man, like, come on, bro. Like, you could have said it a different way. But yeah, I could be reaching, but hey, at the end of the day, where there's smoke, sometimes there's fire, man.
Yeah. And we got a $10 super chat in here. Both of you have been spot on, but McDaniels needs to go irregardless if there's an improvement. He is not a leader of men, too conservative with the play calling. He's not the future of this team. We're pretty vocal about how we stand with, like, how we feel about Josh McDaniels.
Lots of very savage, man. I appreciate the super chat, man. Let me hype this up right here real quick. Yeah, I mean, look, it's 3 games into the season. We'll see how it shakes out. I think it's early. I think Raider Nation right now, we're kind of frustrated because, like, We went from playoffs to disappointment last year. We're having high expectations. And this year, I kind of went into it saying, hey, it's wait and see. And it just feels like early on we've gotten worse, but we'll see if maybe a new quarterback can spark this offense. Maybe Josh Jacobs get the run game going, and that could help us out tomorrow and moving forward. So we'll see how it shakes out, man. Lots of Variant Savage, man. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, man. Appreciate the super chat, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
In the conservative play calling, I think his play calling isn't really the issue. I think it's the execution of the plays being called. What you could probably say it's probably a wordy, mouthy, complicated, are we thinking too much type of offense, but I think guys are schemed open. It's just we need a quarterback that can see the field and get these guys the ball. So if that happens and then this offense continues to sputter and it's clear that it's play calling and Josh McDaniels' issue, then yeah, I would agree with it.
GA Patriot says, Farrell, he says former Patriot players talk so good about McDaniels. Ex-Bronco sees it like, because the former Patriot players, they played under him as an offensive coordinator. You notice that a lot of the former Patriot players, they talk about him when he was as an offensive coordinator. And we've said in the past, like, you know what, McDaniels might be a classic case. He still has what, 14 more games this season. So, it's still, I'm not saying this is end all be all.
Do you think he does?
But that being said, we've said that this might be a classic case of him being a good offensive coordinator, but terrible head coach. Former Patriot players were under him as an OC, not as a head coach. Two different things.
DeMarcus says, Ray Farrell, what are your thoughts on Malik Reed? I think Malik Reed hasn't been the player that he was for quite some time now. It's nothing that moves any type of needle for me. Obviously, with Malcolm Kuntz being hurt, you need another guy in there on the outside as an outside linebacker to create something. You know what I mean? And as of right now, I don't see him being like a game changer. I hope I'm wrong. Hopefully he finds his groove with the Raiders and kind of revitalizes his career. I'd love to see that, but yeah, it's nothing. It's not a crazy move by any means.
Yeah. We actually went longer than we should, man. It's like it's almost 2 hours, man. But we had almost 2 hours. We were like excited to talk about the game, especially with hearing that Jimmy G is going to be out, so that means there's going to be a good chance that we could possibly see AOC tomorrow. We just seen someone in the chat saying that Sanjeet, who I guess knows someone on the team, he has a source that's saying that AOC is going to start tomorrow, and he's never been wrong. So hopefully he's right. Hopefully we'll be able to see AOC tomorrow. That'd be a huge boost to Raider Nation. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be going live too at halftime, starting at halftime till the end of the game. I'm gonna be going, and we got another super chat. We'll get to that in a second, but he says, "Can the Raiders stop Herbert?" Ray, this is all you, man.
Oh, geez. Short answer, no. Long answer, the best way to stop Herbert is to keep him off the field. So long, efficient, productive drives, time of possession. And then when they are in there, you've got to tighten down in the red zone. You've got to find a way to create turnovers. He hasn't turned the ball over yet this season. You've got to make that a first if you want to slow him down or stop him or get him to second guess. So can the Raiders stop Herbert? No. Can you slow him down? Mm-hmm. I think that there's ways to do that.
Yeah. No, we can't stop Herbert. We can only you figure out ways to keep him off the field. You know what I mean? Smart ways to keep him off the field. Because right now we're not built that way right now. Our defensive, to be honest, talent wise, we don't have all. So we're just gonna have players gonna have to play their best game, and we're gonna have to get some turnovers, keep away on offense, run the ball, and maybe we'll have a chance to win the game that way. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen. Please start. Everybody's speaking it into existence, so it's going to happen. Bougie says, I doubt Belichick is some kind of fun-loving people person. Only difference is he isn't a great head coach. Nah, not at all. Exactly. That last part. Only difference he's a great head coach. But I'm sure Belichick, though, is a better communicator to players than Josh McDaniels. I just feel like, man, that's like a necessary skill. Like, you got to be able to communicate to the players if you're a head coach. I don't know. Like, is there a possible way you can be successful as a head coach if you cannot communicate to the players?
If you win football games.
But how do you win football games? You can't communicate your message.
You have a coaching staff. You have a coaching staff that takes that message and dissects it and relates with the players. And so the leader is looking at the guy of, oh yeah, he's calling the shots. He might not be my best friend, but he knows how to get this coaching staff, player personnel in a position to win games. So that's how you do it. And the problem is Raiders are 17-13 with Josh McDaniels. So yeah, everybody's looking around right now.
Right. But man, we appreciate everybody coming through, man. This has been a great live. I appreciate everybody coming through. Man, we went a little bit over than we should, but like I said, we had a lot to talk about with everything going on with the Chandler Jones.
Yes,
make sure to hit that like button on the way out, man. We really appreciate that. We appreciate the support. But if you guys can continue to support us by hitting the like button, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell, it's really helpful for us, so we can keep coming back and doing these live streams and bringing back this content. But man, any last thoughts, man, before I wrap it up?
Hey man, Aiden O'Connell time. It's time to shave everybody, get the mustaches out and start rocking them. Let's go out here and get away.
Are you gonna do some type of guarantee?
I don't know, bro. We'll see. If I'm excited, I probably will.
No, but you got to do it on the live, man. Like I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
I'll do it on the live. If I get excited and he creates that type of momentum.
Okay, after tomorrow, then you're gonna see if you're gonna do some type of guarantee.
Yeah,
because we don't know who's gonna be the starter. I mean, we're hearing some rumors that it might be AOC, but it can possibly be Brian Hoyer, and you're for sure not gonna do any type of guarantee with Brian Hoyer at quarterback.
No. But no, man. Hey, let's just go out there. Let's fight. Let's find a way to get a win. Keep Justin Herbert off the field. Aiden O'Connell. Let's see him kind of shred the Chargers defense, and bring excitement to this offense. And let's put up more than 20 points and get the run game going. So, no, man, I'm excited as long as with Raider Nation. But I just think we should just end it out on the right way.
Yeah, man. And hey, before I end it out the right way, I'm going to be going live at halftime tomorrow. A live game stream, so make sure to check me out. So we enjoy the game, man. I'm gonna be talking my mess. I'm gonna be relaxing. I'm not gonna be overanalyzing the game, but I'm just gonna be having a good time. So make sure to join me tomorrow at halftime. Be on the lookout. Like I said, hit that notification bell so you'll be notified. And yeah, man, just check me out tomorrow on my channel, Pharaoh NFL. And when I go live, man. And the only thing that matters, man, if the Raiders could
Just win, baby.
All right, y'all.
Great Pharaoh. The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Believe that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future. Just win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't